Hi friends, it's Pastor Bill Fole from Jesse Lee Memorial United Methodist Church. A few days ago I shared with you this painting from Rembrandt that I have in my home, Return of the Prodigal Son, and told you a little bit about the younger son who left and returned and had a party thrown for him. But that's not all there is to that story, not all that there is in Luke chapter 15. So the precursor to the story is Jesus tells a parable about a shepherd who had 100 sheep, and he ends up counting them and he discovers he has only 99. And the question is, what do you do if you've lost one sheep? Well, a lot of folks would say, well, if you're in the wilderness and there's predators around and it's an uncertain market, sometimes you just got to cut your losses. But that's not what Jesus says. He says there's more rejoicing in heaven over one lost one who returns than over 99 who didn't need to be found. The second story is about a woman who had 10 coins and loses one of those. And she's willing to sweep the whole house and look for that coin, and when she finds it, she tells everybody, I found it, I found it! And she's very excited, and people get that. And so when we get to this third story about the father and his two sons, the question is the son worth looking for? Is the son worth receiving? Well, as I mentioned earlier, there were two sons, and the one son went off and wasted the money, but the other son remained on the farm. But he resented it. He kind of said, this isn't fair, I'm kind of a slave here, and I don't like it. And so when his younger son returned and he heard all the music and the partying and everything, he said, I don't like this. And he refused to go into the party. Well, his father also came out to him and said, son, we have to celebrate, for your brother was dead and is alive again. Well, the interesting thing is that we don't know how the story ends. Jesus doesn't finish it. We don't know if the older brother says, oh my gosh, that knuckleheaded brother of mine, I guess I'm glad that he's okay. Or if he says, I've had it and I'm never going to see him again. Or you, Dad. I don't know what he does. Jesus tells these parables because there are religious leaders who are grumbling that Jesus welcomes folks who aren't particularly celebrated in religious communities. Jesus points out that our choices impact how others can be received by God. Their openness to the grace that God would share with them is determined in part by how it is that we receive them. How are you receiving those? Are second chances a possibility? Do you believe that God might open doors to folks who have wandered in directions that weren't good for them? At Jesse Lee, we're an open and inclusive community. We recognize that people come from lots of places, and some of those places haven't been good. And you will find that in this place, you have a place. I hope to see you when it's safe to be out of doors and in community again. But for now, know that I'm thinking of you and praying for you and trusting that God will find you wherever you are. Amen to that. Bye-bye.